reports this week of New England Patriots scouts being banned from practice. Just want to give you the opportunity to comment on that and provide some sort of explanation on that.
Yeah, well, no, it's clear that I'm not welcome there around their facility, and so not welcome in ours. Pretty simple.
Pretty simple, but pretty complicated. That was Bill Belichick from Saturday night. We didn't mention it yesterday during the program. I did a little video afterward about where this thing stands and how it's gotten here between Bill Belichick and the Patriots, since we have a guy who knows a thing or two about playing for the Patriots and playing for Bill Belichick. Devin, I just want to get your thoughts on what the hell is going on between Bill Belichick and the Patriots, how we got here and where you think it goes from here.
Yeah, man, I remember we talked about this last year. Of one of the things I think Bill said something after, I think it was after Gerard Mayo called the team soft, and I think I said on this show of I hated how this thing has all turned into a soap opera. Like, you take a shot in this interview and whatever publication, and you say this, and then he says that. I mean, this comes after Kraft says that he foresees a statue of Bill going up. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, man, we're finally at that point where maybe these two guys will stop trading shots and they'll just focus on where they're at and then, be able to enjoy the great memories that they did. And then the whole saga comes out of supposedly the Patriots scouts are banned from UNC. And I thought this was maybe like one of those situations I've heard scouts say it's not fun going to certain colleges because they just make everything hard. So I thought this was maybe Bill saying, I'm going to make it hard for the Patriots. And he doubled down in an interview, which I don't fully understand because I think as a parent, I wouldn't know, me personally, I would, but another parent wouldn't necessarily know how the NFL and the scouting and all that happens. So it almost, as a parent and my kid wants to go there, I would be like, well, no, we wouldn't go there because maybe you want to be a Patriot and it's blocked. So you might think if no scouts are allowed there, then that means the team won't want any of your players. So it just was weird. And then Vrabel responded that, and I think we have it, but it's just, why is all of this happening? And I think until we fully know, I think everybody has reports of what they think happened where maybe it was Kraft kind of going to Bill and saying, we only have X amount of years, 2 years, 3 years left, what you hear. I don't think anybody truly knows, or, you hear the stories of Brady and Kraft wanting to keep Brady, but Bill, all these different things. But it seems like Brady and Bill are good. They've moved on. They're in a happy place. And it just seems like so much tension between them. And I don't fully understand or know why that they can't get over whatever the situation is.
Whatever it is, Devin, that happened, I believe it happened after Bill left because Bill showed up for the joint press conference with Robert Kraft, and he was all smiles. And I think that he was all smiles because he thought he was going to come out of this with a better team and a better chance to chase down Don Shula's all-time wins record. That he was upgrading to the Falcons or the Cowboys. Those were the two teams that I think he thought he had a reasonable shot with. I think he thought he had Atlanta in his back pocket. And I think initially he did, until there was a groundswell in the organization of all the people who were going to have to deal with Bill Belichick and maybe get fired by Bill Belichick, who went to the owner and said, you can't do this. Now, there was a report, if you recall, that Robert Kraft had said to Arthur Blank, you can't trust Bill Belichick, and that contributed to the pivot away from Belichick toward Raheem Morris. True or not, that's out there. Was that the thing that got Bill Belichick upset? Does he think Robert Kraft torpedoed his opportunity to go to another team? We know that people think that the Dynasty series on Apple was slanted in favor of the Krafts and not Bill Belichick. The counter to that is Bill Belichick showed up as a grumpy old curmudgeon when he was interviewed, and you're gonna have projected onto the screen what you project out into the world. So he had some control over how he was presented because he had full control over how he presented himself. But something happened after he left to get to this ridiculous point where he claims he's not welcome in New England, which is just factually inaccurate. If you want to be a victim, that's fine, but you need to at least be a victim on something where you've been victimized. It's just made up. It's just false. He's painting himself as a victim under false circumstances, as confirmed by, and here he is yesterday on WEEI's The Greg Hill Show, Mike Vrabel, getting asked the question and giving the answer of whether or not Bill Belichick is banned from the New England Patriots.
On Saturday night, Bill Belichick addressed the story that scouts from the Patriots were not allowed onto the campus to scout the Tar Heels. He said that he's not welcome here, so why would he allow Patriots employees onto his campus? Is Bill Belichick welcome here? And were you surprised that he didn't allow the scouts onto campus to scout his players?
Again, nothing surprises me. I would imagine that that Bill, I mean, he came back for, the best of my knowledge, Tom's ceremony, so that I guess he's welcome back based on the fact that he was there. So I'll just go by that. Since his departure as the head coach here, he's been back, and I'll leave it at that.
Has he maybe been out shopping or something at Patriot Place and not allowed to walk?
I don't know.
Does his key card still work?
Well, no. When you get fired, the key card does not work. I tried it. I went back to Tennessee. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
No.
They call that a Mancini.
No, the fingerprint doesn't work. The key card doesn't work. No, that's not how it happens.
You know, they can call it a mutual parting, but he was fired. And I don't know that that was a Freudian slip by Vrabel, but Vrabel knows what happened. It wasn't – I mean, Bill may have been happy to go because he thought he was going to land somewhere else, but if he knew he wasn't going to land somewhere else, my guess is he would have preferred to stay in New England and continue to chase Don Shula, even if it would have taken longer to get there than it would have if he would have had a better team in the latter years of his time in New England. It just really is weird, and I don't know how – this gets resolved. But so far, I think Belichick is the one that looks bad here. He's got no reason to go back to New England. Patriot scouts have a reason to go to Chapel Hill. They're trying to do their job. His favorite phrase, do your job. They're trying to do their job. And I wrote at PFT, there's legal issues at play here. You either have to freeze everyone out or let everyone in. You can't be selective. It's just an ugly mess. And it's sad that it's come to this. And I also can't look away because you've got the greatest coach of all time, arguably, who is acting like a 5-year-old.
I think he's going to fix that. I don't think that's going to stay where the Patriots have been. But I think, and you would know better, and I know your ears are always to the street. But if that is true that he was blocked, or even if he just feels that Kraft went out of his way to stop him from getting a job, I think that makes all this make more sense for how long he's coached, for what he did for the Patriots organization. I know, they took a chance. He took whatever you want to say. When he was there, he was highly successful. So if we're going to sit here and say, hey, maybe he did have a real chance to get these jobs, and a call from your former boss to the next boss of saying, don't trust this guy. And I think especially with what is perceived of Bill Belichick, that would be kind of a dagger for him to get any job. So that does make it make more sense if that's true.
And you know what? I mean, if I'm Arthur Blank, do I really need Robert Kraft to tell me to be careful with Bill Belichick? I've had 20-plus years. This is part of what you're signing on for. You're getting a guy who may get you in trouble. You're getting a guy who's going to dance on the edges of the rules. You're getting a guy who's going to be rude and disrespectful to everyone, including you as the owner of the team. That's just what you're getting. You also may get a Super Bowl out of it. The question is, how much do you want to sell to try to get a Super Bowl? Or 3 or 6. Or 6. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.